Hello and welcome to an album a day, day 57, going through my vinyl collection. Thank you guys for those of you who have been watching and following along. I've gotten some really nice comments about people enjoying me sharing my vinyl collection, some collectors and some friends and some people I have never met, which is really cool. So glad that you're enjoying it. It's a lot of fun for me to go through these, and as I'm going through these, I'm cataloging them. Actually, one that I haven't gotten to yet, I had a couple minutes while yesterday's video was uploading, so I went ahead and looked it up on Discogs. There was no picture for it, and there were only 2 releases on vinyl, and I had one of them, and there were no pictures for the one that I had, so I took pictures, uploaded them, and they're already on the site, which is really cool. So it's nice to be able to contribute a little bit instead of just, depending on everyone else's work, to be able to do a little bit myself and help out for those people who are looking for answers, because that site, Discogs, has been amazing for me. To be able to verify not just the record number, because a lot of times there's multiple issues under the same record number, but the sticker's different, the layout is different, whether it's a gatefold or not, there's all kinds of differences. So it's really cool to be able to hone in on the exact copy that you have. However, I found something really interesting about today's album. I think this is the first live album I'm covering because I only own a couple. Yeah, I've covered one already. Let me look, because now I'm curious. Before I go any further, it's going to just bother me until no end whether I did or not, and it doesn't look like I have. Okay, so this should be the first live album I'm covering, and this album came out in 1972, very famous live album. Something a little interesting about the copy that I have, but we're talking, of course, about 1972 Deep Purple's Made in Japan. Bam! This album has been noted to be such an inspiration for so many musicians, why they wanted to get into a band in the first place. I believe this was the tour that Lars Ulrich saw them on as well when they were in Denmark. And that was something that was heavily influential to him, and other members of Metallica too have all noted that Made in Japan was a pretty influential album. So what's interesting about this one, okay, is that it's a double album. Because some of these songs are so long, like literally Space Truckin' is the entire side of an album. But I have the Purple Records copy, which is really cool, part of my Purple Records collection. And I found out there was one more that I didn't realize was released on Purple Records because it didn't show up in my search. So now I am one LP short and 245 short, because there were 245s also that showed up after my initial searches that were issued on Purple Records. So I'm 3 records short of a complete collection, which is okay. I will get there eventually. The 45s are a little more expensive. Live in London is not that expensive, but I'm just not going to get it right now. So anyway, what's really interesting about this is that this album from Purple Records was never released on vinyl in the US. It was released in many other countries, but not the United States. Why? I don't know. But they must have used another company to do their US pressing. Could have very well been Warner Brothers or any number of companies. But Warner Brothers had some releases for this. So very possible Purple Records said, hey, we'll handle the rest of the world. You handle the US, and we're good. So this is a UK copy from 1972, which is really nice. The vinyls are in excellent shape, not a scratch, not a skip, nothing at all. The cover, however, is not in as good of shape. It's a little bit warped. You can see it as I hit the light with it. You can see it's definitely warbled, not well taken care of, unfortunately. The backside also has a good amount of warbling on it, as you can see a little bit as I shine it in the light. It is a nice gatefold, the standard gatefold. I think the inserts are generic though. Yes, just plain white. Nothing to them. No advertisements or anything like that. But the vinyl obviously is the most important part. And then down here we have this horrible mark and crease, and the cover itself is really not great. The picture, however, is in good shape, which is nice, and the picture on the back is in good shape, which is nice. It's like everything around that kind of sucks. But the vinyl plays, and that's the most important part. Now, as some of you guys may know, I'm not a huge fan of live albums. There's just something about the way that the energy, to me, doesn't transfer from stage to record, listening to it at home. It's like, why is this so fast? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound good at this tempo, or whatever, whatever the thing might be. It's about being there. If you were there and you were with the band and they were playing and you were with, anywhere between 2,500 people, 20,000 people, whatever it is, and you're feeling the energy of that performance, that's a little bit different. I'd actually rather watch a live video than just listen to it on record, because at least then you can see the band, you can see how into it they are, you can see the crowd getting into it and that sort of thing. You don't really get that on a record. But Made in Japan, record I will happily have in my collection. I've listened to it many, many times, memorized every note of the drum solo, of course, because why wouldn't I, from the Mule. Great stuff. Absolutely fantastic album. This band in Mark II in their just top peak performances. And the concert was recorded over 3 different shows and pieced together. Just a quick backstory on it, pretty commonly known. This album is called Made in Japan. Originally, it was only allowed to be released in Japan, but then it just took off, became huge, got released all around the world in 1972. So, yeah, really cool. And it was done by their engineer, Martin Birch, who is just a master of sound. And not surprising, it came out so good. And yeah, so that's Made in Japan, one of the only live records I listen to. I own a couple for collection purposes that I've listened to, on occasion, but really Made in Japan and another album, which is also a double live album that I'll get to at some point, are the only 2 live albums I really listen to. Some little bits here and there, maybe a song or two just to hear a different version of it or hear, how they did a solo or something like that. But in general, not a huge live record guy fan. Anyway, yeah, that. So anyway, Made in Japan. Cheers.